Text A8A, problem number 1. The sum of the perimeters of two different squares is 32 centimeters, and the difference between the perimeters is 8 centimeters. If x represents the side length of the larger square, and y represents the side length of the smaller square, which of the following systems of equations could be used to find the dimensions of the squares? All right, let's take a look at this. We're talking about a large square and a small square, and that the perimeters, the sum of the perimeters of two different squares meaning that all the sides are going to be equal, is 32 centimeters. So the sum is 32, and the difference between their perimeters is 8 centimeters. If x represents the side length of the larger square, so x is going to be the bigger square, and y represents the side length of the smaller square, which of the following systems of equation could be used to find the dimensions of the squares? All right, what do we know about perimeter? Perimeter is all the way around the square. So if it's x plus x plus x plus x. So on the large square, the perimeter would be 4 times x. Smaller square would be y plus y plus y, and so it would be 4 y's. So 4 x's and 4 y's. It says the sum of the perimeters of two different squares is 32. And then it says that the difference between their perimeters is 8. So the difference, the larger one is x, so we'll put that one first, and subtract the smaller one, y, and that should give us. So our systems of equations should be 4x plus 4y equals 32, and 4x minus 4y is 8. And so the correct answer choice is B. However, you could really get tripped up with A, because if you don't think about the perimeter as being all 4 sides, you could think that answer choice A is correct. So that one's really tricky, and it's the first one. You could potentially answer that wrong just because it's first and it looks good. Now C is saying that you're just doing 2 times that. Well, 2 times is not perimeter, and that's if you got area confused, you might choose this answer choice. And then D is saying 4 times x, but on the smaller one you're only taking 2 sides. That's not right at all. So that's not the correct answer choice. The correct answer choice is B. And I went ahead and double checked myself. And when I looked on the calculator, I put them into the y values and so forth. And I looked and I found that the answers were, they were 5 when x is 5 and y is 3. And if you look at that, the answer of, when we actually solve it, x is 5 and y is 3, that makes sense, because the sum of the perimeters is 32, and so 4 times 5 is 20, and 4 times 3 is 12, and that would add those together, you get 32. And then the difference between the perimeters is 8. If you took 4 times 5, you would get 20. Again, 3 times 4 is 12, and subtract those and you would get 8. That wouldn't be the case for A. A would give you something way above and beyond. And that's why I double-checked myself to make sure A wasn't the correct answer, and that truly the correct answer is B. TA8A, problem number 2. There are 9 books stacked on a shelf. The thickness of each book is either 1 inch or 2 inches. The height of the stack of 9 books is 14 inches. Which system of equations can be used to determine x, the number of 1 inch thick books in the stack, and y, the number of 2 inch thick books? So let's break this down. Alright, there are 9 books on the shelf. Okay, important. And the thickness of each book is either 1 inch or 2 inches. And the height of the stack of 9 books is 14 inches. Which system of equation can be used to determine x? So x is the 1 inch thick books, and y is the 2 inch thick books. Alright, x is 1 inch thick, and y is 2 inch thick. And it says there are 9 books stacked on the shelf. So the total number of books we have is we have x number of 1 inch books, and y number of 2 inch books, and the number of books equals 9. So we can put in x plus y equals 9. That tells you how many books you have. And now you're taking into account the height of the books. So it's saying that you have the whole height is 14 inches. And so now we need to look at the height of the books. And the 1 inch books, it would be 1 times x, because that's the number of inches you're dealing with. And 1 is just x. And then you need 2 inches times y, because for every y value you get 2 inches. And so this would be the equation. X plus 2y will give you the height. So our system of equations that we're looking for is x plus y equals 9 and x plus 2y equals 14. If you noticed A, it's saying x plus y is 14. Well, that's not true, because x and y are the number of books, and it doesn't equal 14 inches. And so A is not correct. B is saying the same thing, x plus y equals 14. That's not right. But notice, they're thrown in that 2y, and the 2y does have the 2 times y is the height of the books. But again, this is talking about the number of books, and this is talking about the height. So B is not correct. Now C is saying the number of books is 9, and that's true. You add up x and y, and that gives you 9. And then x plus 2y, and that's working with the height correctly, is 14. And so that looks like the correct answer. But let's double check D and find out why it isn't. And this one's saying x plus y is 9. That's correct. But 2x plus y is 14. The 2 x is not the 2 inch stacks, it's 1. And so therefore D is not a correct answer. The correct answer choice to number 2 is C. Teeks A8A, problem number 3. At a restaurant, the cost for a breakfast taco and a small glass of milk is $2.10. The cost for two tacos and 3 small glasses of milk is $5.15. Which pair of equations can be used to determine T, the cost of a taco, and M, the cost of a small glass of milk? Alright, let's break this down and take a look at it. It says that a breakfast taco and a small glass of milk is $2.10. And the cost for 2 tacos and 3 small glasses of milk is $5.15. It is determining what the variables are going to be. They're going to be T and M. T is for taco and M is for the milk. And so let's look at this again. It is the cost of a breakfast taco and a small glass of milk. So a taco and a milk, taco plus milk, is equal to $2.10. And then it says the cost of 2 tacos. So 2 tacos and 3 milks is $5.15. These are the systems of equations that we're looking for. Alright, A says T plus M is $2.10. That's correct. However, it says 2T times 3M is $5.15. Alright, that's 2 tacos and 2 milks. Our problem says 2 tacos and 3 milks. So A is not the correct answer choice. B says Tacos plus milk is 210. That's correct. 3 tacos and 3 milks. Okay, again, it's 2 tacos, 3 milks. B is not correct. C is tacos plus milk is 210. Then it says 3 tacos and 2 milks. Okay, no, it's 2 tacos, 3 milks. D is not correct. C is not correct. Sorry, I'm thinking D is correct, and it probably is. That's tacos and milks, 210. That's correct. 2 tacos, 3 milks is 515. Yes, D is the correct answer. So the answer choice to problem number 3 is D. TA8 Teeks A8A, problem number 4. At a college bookstore, Carla purchased a math textbook and a novel that cost a total of $54, not including tax. If the price of the math textbook, M, is $8 more than 3 times the price of the novel, N, which system of linear equations could be used to determine the price of each book? All right. Let's break this down, and maybe I can read it better the second time around. And let me get my pen out. All right. At a college bookstore, Carla purchased a math textbook and a novel that cost a total of $54, not including tax. If the price of the math textbook, so it's saying math is going to be represented by M, is $8 more than 3 times the price of the novel N. So novel is going to be represented by N. $8 more than 3 times the price of the novel N. All right. So we know that she purchased a math book, and a novel, and that was going to cost her $54. So the math book and the novel is $54. So that's the first equation. And then it says, if the math textbook is $8 more than 3 times the price of the novel, so then we're going to need to know that the math textbook was 8 more than 3 times. So if 3 times the novel minus 8, because the math textbook was $8 more than 3 times the price of the novel. So here's our systems of linear equations that we're looking for. Now the first one says that the math book and the novel was $8. That's not correct. Same thing with G. That's not correct. And then H says the math book and the novel were $54. That's correct. And then the math book was 3 times the novel and $8 more than that. The math is 8 more than 3 times the price of the novel. And this is actually the correct answer. I just did the wrong way. So, glad I double checked. The correct answer here is actually H. And so J is not correct because it's less than. So I didn't read it very well, but we did come up with the correct answer. So the correct answer to problem number 4 is H. And notice, we all make mistakes. Good thing we stop by and correct them and double check ourselves. So thanks. Thanks for bearing with me, and the correct answer to problem number 4 is H. Teeks A8A, problem number 5. At Canty's Sweet Shop, Sarah made C pounds of chocolate-covered raisins, which sell for $1.50 a pound, and Y pounds of chocolate yogurt-covered raisins, which sell for $1.20 a pound. Sarah wants to make 40 pounds of a mixture of the 2 kinds of raisins that sell for $1.35 a pound. Which system of equations can be used to find the number of pounds of each kind of raisin needed to produce the mixture? All right, let's break this down and write some equations. All right, Sarah's making C chocolate-covered raisins, and they sell for $1.50 a pound. So the chocolate-covered raisins are $1.50 a pound. And Y pounds of yogurt. So Y is going to be our yogurt-covered raisins, and they're selling for $1.20 a pound. And then Sarah wants to make 40 pounds of a mixture of the two kinds of raisins that sell for $1.35 a pound. Which system of equations can be used to find the number of pounds of each kind of raisins needs to produce the mixture? All right. So C is the chocolate covered, Y is the yogurt covered, and Sarah wants to make 40 pounds of the mixture. So C plus Y equals 40. All right, so we're talking about the pounds. And now for the cost, we need to look at the $1.50 for the chocolate covered and the $1.20 for the yogurt, and that's going to equal the $1.35 times the 40 pounds for the mixture. And so the equation we're looking for is this. A is saying the chocolate covered and the yogurts are 40, that $1.50 times the chocolate covered plus $1.20 times the yogurt. This looks exactly like what we found, but let's keep looking. B is saying that, but it's saying $150. Okay, it doesn't cost $150 for the chocolate covered raisins, nor does it cost $120 for the $120 for the yogurt covered raisins. So B is not correct. All right, let's look at C. C plus Y equals 40. And here it's saying it's $1.20 for the chocolate covered raisins. That's not true. It's $1.50, so C is not correct. D is saying that the C plus Y is 40. That's correct. But again, now here we're going $120 for no. So D is not correct. The correct answer choice for problem number 5 is A. Takes A, 8B, problem number 1. Some values for the two linear equations are shown in the tables below. Equation 1 and its table of values, and equation 2 has its table of values. What is the solution to the system of equations represented by these tables? Now, when the Algebra 1 teachers got together and looked at this, a lot of us went straight for trying to solve it and come up with the equations and so forth. And then we had our aha moment that when we're looking at the linear equations and we have tables, let's first start with the easy part. So those of you that are overthinkers may have been struggling with this because you were trying to do it the difficult way and look for the values. But what we really can do is look at 2 and 5. Okay, there's not a correlation there, but hey, look, there's a 5 and an 11. And if there's a 5 and an 11 in this equation, and we have a 5 and an 11 in this equation, then that is our actual solution. So as difficult as you could make this equation, you know, some of the teachers actually put it into stat edit, put the plots in there, the points in there, then found a linear regression, found the equations, and then found out where they intersected, and it was very difficult. But truly, this one was tricky because it was just that simple. So the correct answer here is D, because when you look at a table of values, it's going to let me choose an answer choice. When you're looking at a table of values, come on. All right, D is our correct answer. I just can't circle it, I'm sorry. When we're looking at the table of values, That's all you have to find, is when they're actually equal to each other. And so this is our answer choice. The answer choice is D. D is correct. Teaks A8B, problem number 2. What is the value of x in a solution to the system of equations below? 6x plus 3y equals 13, and 3x minus y equals 4. I'm going to take and I'm going to solve both of the systems for y, and then I'm going to put it in the calculator. Now you could solve this by substitution, you could solve it by graphing, you could solve it by elimination. There's many ways we can solve this problem, but I think I'm going to approach this with solving for y and then plugging it into the calculator. So I put 6x plus 3y equals 13. I am going to subtract 6x from both sides, trying to isolate the y. I will get 3y equals negative 6x plus 13. I'm going to divide everything by 3. And that'll cancel. I'll get y is equal to negative 2x plus 13 thirds. Alright. And so then I'm going to isolate the y on the 3x. 3x minus y is equal to 4. And so on that one, I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And I will get negative y is equal to negative 3x plus 4. And so this equation, I'm going to divide everything by negative 1. It will be y is equal to 3x minus 4. So my two systems of equations are y equals 3x minus 4 and y equals negative 2x plus 13 thirds. I'm going to pull up the calculator. I am going to go to y equals. I am going to put in my two equations. The first one is 3x minus 4. And my second equation is negative 2x plus I'm going to hug my fractions. I'm going to do 13 divided by 3. Whoops. And close that hug. And then I'm going to go to graph them. Alright, and I'm looking at my point of intersections. And so to find that, I'm going to go to second and trace, which gives me calculate. I'm going to go to the point of intersection, which is number 5. I'm going to press enter 3 times. And I'm going to find that my solution is that the x value is 1.6667, which is actually 1 2/3, and the y value is 1. So my solutions are x is equal to 1 2/3, and y is equal to 1. That's when the systems, if I plugged 1 and 2/3 in for x and 1 in for y, it would equal 13. And in the same instance, it would equal 4. So what is it looking for? It says, what is the x solution? So the x solution is 1 and 2/3. 1 and 2/3 is also, if you want to put that in mixed number, this is mixed number, I'm sorry, into an improper fraction, you would take 1 times 3, which is 3, and add 2, that's 5. And so the answer is 5/3. And the correct answer choice is B. Teaks A8B, problem number 4. Which of the following graphs best represents a system of equations that have no solution? Alright, let's think about that. Solutions for systems of equations are when the two graphs intersect. So we're looking for a graph that has no solution. That means that the graphs will never intersect, they'll never cross. And can you think of any instance where they'll never cross? Well, that's parallel lines. So let's look at these. And already we can eliminate B. It's crossing. There's a solution. The solution is right there. And C, if we extended these points out, we keep going with these lines because, see, they go on to infinity. The lines are eventually going to cross somewhere. And so C is not a solution. Now we've kind of narrowed it down to A and to D. And of these two, which one seems to be more parallel? Well, I would pick D, because eventually, even though we can't draw this into our vision, if these keep going, eventually somewhere out there in infinity they're going to cross, because they're not, there's the steepness of the lines are different. And so A is not the correct answer. The correct answer to problem number 4 is D. Teaks A8B, problem number 5. Which of the following is a solution for the system of linear equations? Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2 and 3x minus y equals negative 13. What I'm going to do for this is I'm going to go ahead and plug this into the calculator. Remember that you can solve these by graphing, so you could actually graph it on your graph paper that you find at the end of your booklet, star booklet, or you can plug in the negative 2/3 x plus 2 in for y value here, or what we can do is I'm actually going to use a calculator. You can also use the process of elimination. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to solve for y, so I have my 3x minus y equals negative 13. And I want to get y by itself, so I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides of the equation. And that gives me negative y is equal to negative 3x minus 13. Now I need to divide everything by negative 1 to get rid of the negative for the y. And I get y is equal to 3x plus 13. Now I want to go to my calculator and I want to plug the two equations in. So for the first one, I'm going to hug my fraction. I'm going to put in the negative. Be careful to use the negative instead of the minus. Negative 2 divided by 3, close the parenthesis, plus 2. Oops, and I forgot my x in here, so I'm going to go back, put the x in. Sorry, got rid of the parenthesis there. Close the parenthesis, put the x in, plus 2, and then that's the first equation. Then the one we just solved for y is going to be 3x plus 13.
And I'm going to graph it and see if I see where my points cross. Okay, there they are, somewhere in the negative area. So pretty much we can get rid of f because that's not a negative number. And now let's go ahead and let the calculator calculate it. I'm going to press second and calculate, which is trace. I'm going to go to number 5. I'm going to press enter 3 times. And my solution is x is negative 3 and y is 4. Alright, so the solution is negative 3, 4. Negative 3 and 4. Alright, x is negative 3 and y is 4. So let's look for it. It is not f. It is not g. It looks like it's h, and it is not j. So the correct answer to problem number 5 is h. TEEX A8B, problem number 6. The graph of the equation y equals 5/3 x minus 3 is given below. Graph y equals x plus 1 on the grid. What is the solution to this system of equations? 0, 1, 5, 6, 6, 7, and no solution. Alright, what we need to do here is we're going to solve the system by graphing. We're already given y equals 5/3 x minus 3 on the graph. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to graph y equals x plus 1. And so we need to remember y equals mx plus b. B is our y-intercept, and so it's going to cross at 1, and so it's crossing the graph at 0, 1. That's where it's going to begin, and our slope is also 1. So it's the change in y over the change in x, so it's going to be 1 over 1. So let's go ahead and graph the first point. The first point is 0, 1. It's beginning at 1, and then it's going to move by 1 over 1. And then 1 over 1, 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 1 over 1. And so our graph, is going to look like this. I kept graphing until I actually crossed the line so I could find my point of intersection, which is right here. And then that value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it is crossing at 6, 7, and that is answer choice C. The correct answer for problem number 6 is letter C. TEEX A8C, problem number 4. Kelly will enclose her rectangular tomato garden with 32 feet of fencing material. She wants the length of the garden to be at least 3 times the width. What is the minimum length that will meet Kelly's conditions? Alright, so let's think about this. She's got this tomato garden, and she needs 32 feet of fencing materials. And she wants the length of the garden to be at least 3 times the width. So let's call this the length and this the width. And let's think about that. She wants the length is going to be 3 times the width. And so what we have is the 32 feet of fencing is a perimeter, because all the way around here is going to be 32 feet. That's how much fencing you're going to need. So let's look at the perimeter. The perimeter would be 2W, because we have a W here and a W here. And then since the length is 3W, we're going to have a 3W and another 3W. And that's going to equal 32 feet. So if I combine the like terms, I have 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 3 is 8. And I have 8w equals 32. I divide both sides by 8. And I get w is equal to 4. So that means the width is 4. So if the width is 4 and the length is 3 times the width, then the length is equal to 3 times 4, and the length is equal to 12. Let's check ourselves. If this was 4, this side is 4, plus 12 is 16, plus another 4 is 20, plus another 12, that's 32. That's correct. So our length is 12, our width is 4, and it says what is the minimum length that will meet Kelly's conditions? The minimum length, we're looking for length, the length is 12. So the minimum length would be B, because it is 12. And so the correct answer for problem number 4 is B. Teeks A8C, problem number 6. Which is a reasonable solution for the systems shown on this graph? All right, let's look at that. It's what is the solution? And so what we need to look at is the solution is where they intersect. If this is 1 and this is 1, what we're looking at is something about right here. So it is negative, and it's negative close to 1. And then as you come down the y value is going to be a negative as well, and it's going to be less than 1/2. So let's look at our answer choices. Like I said, the x value, let's see, it's going to be negative, and it's going to be less than 1. And the y value is also going to be negative, and it's going to be less than 1/2. So F, both of them are negative. F is looking good because negative 5/4, that looks good, and negative 2/5, that looks like a good solution. But let's keep looking. G says negative and positive, and that's not true. They both have to be negative. So G and H both are out of the question. And then G is negative 1/4. Well, negative 1/4 is about here, and then the y value would be down here, so it's not the correct choice either. So the correct answer for problem number 6 is F.